Now we want to bring in former White House Special Counsel Lanny Davis, who handled legal troubles in the Clinton White House, including campaign finance and impeachment. Lanny, you said repeatedly Friday, and this was your quote, Hillary Clinton did nothing wrong. I can understand saying she didn't break the law, but do you really believe she did nothing wrong?
I do, but let me correct my friend Governor Huckabee. I don't want to hurt his political chances, but he is a really good man and a capable man, but he's wrong on the law. The Director of Litigation for the National Archives.
If you can answer my question, I'm asking you specifically, do you think she did anything wrong?
I said no, but she also did nothing illegal, and Governor Huckabee suggested that she might. The reason I don't think she did anything wrong is that, number one, there's plenty of precedent. General Colin Powell did exactly the same thing. Number two,
the rules were completely different?
The rules were not completely different.
Yes, they were. There was a new rule in 2009 that came in.
In fact, the rule in 2009 only talked about preservation, which she has followed, and in 2014 the rules changed. So
all right.
The rules were the same.
Let me go through, if I may,
go ahead,
a list of the various rules, regulations, laws that she may have violated. Let's put them up on the screen.
May have violated.
If I may finish, sir. The State Department's Foreign Affairs Manual said employees must use secure, department-approved computer systems. The agency that regulates the Federal Records Act, that's a law, said emails must be, quote, preserved in the appropriate agency. The Obama White House said private emails must be preserved, and later, 2011, when she was still Secretary of State, that all work should be conducted on government email. And you say Hillary Clinton did nothing wrong?
So you interrupted me when I said, or about to say, that the Director of Litigation for the very agency you just quoted, the National Archives Administration, said she did nothing illegal or violated any of those rules that you just quoted. Not one. And indeed, Colin Powell was subject to those rules because they began in 1995, and the word you used, and you said may, everything is may, is preserved, and she did preserve
I want to ask you about preserved, because when the government said preserved, do you think they had in mind someone who never turned over any records during the entire 4 years that she was Secretary of State, never turned over any records when she left as Secretary of State, did not, in fact, turn over any records until almost 2 years after she left as Secretary of State? Do you think that's what the rules meant when President Obama, when the Federal Records Act, when the Foreign Manual all talked about preserving records?
The answer is yes, and you...
2 years after, that's what they meant.
And you, Chris Wallace, may have a subjective belief of what might have been the case. I hear the word may. I'm talking about what is the case. Those records are preserved. Governor Huckabee said, well, maybe they were deleted. The last time I looked, you cannot delete on a hard drive. There can be a neutral party to review all these records. Nothing unlawful.
You'd like to have a neutral party?
I said there can be. The State Department.
Obviously, there can be. I understand that. I'm asking you, do you think that's a reasonable idea?
I think it is a reasonable idea. If anybody has any doubts that there's a delete on a hard drive, I think Governor Huckabee
to have an independent force go inspect her private email.
I think that is a reasonable idea. If the State Department asks, she will say yes. If there's a subpoena, she must say yes. This is a bogus notion that what might be the case versus what is the case.
How about the Obama White House in 2011 saying that all work should be conducted on government emails?
In fact, the Obama White House has been unclear about what the policy is because there are many people...
The president was talking about it with Bill Clinton. He didn't say it was unclear.
You know, Chris, what the president said was he didn't know, even though the August White House knew, and the president then went on to support Hillary Clinton. So if you just let me finish, the fact is nobody says it's illegal. She's turned over all of her emails, the first Secretary of State to ever do that, and going forward, she's available for access. She turned them over she said she's
turned them over in December
to turn everything to the public over. She turned them over last December, yes.
Right, which was almost 2 years after she left office.
And exactly consistent with the law, and the law changed in 2014, which you forgot to mention, and the New York Times forgot to mention.
No,
so
I didn't say it hadn't changed. I said that it also changed in 2009. Let me ask you a question, Lanny.
It changed in 2009, and it was complied with because
if Clinton did nothing wrong, why did she send out a memo? Why did she send out a memo in 2011 to all State Department posts with this directive? Avoid conducting official department business from your personal email accounts. Why was it so important for every other member of the State Department but it was a directive that she ignored.
I can explain that by saying that a Secretary of State traveling to 111 countries might be needing to have one email system versus people in the department who should use the official system. I wonder why you haven't...
No, I don't understand that. You're saying it's such a burden to have to use state.gov?
I didn't say such a burden. You said such a burden. I said that it's understandable if a secretary...
Why?
For the same reason Jeb Bush had 3 million emails.
No. You know, you're talking about Jeb Bush, and I've heard you play this game before.
You don't let me finish.
I've heard you play this Jeb Bush game before. It's like the Republicans during Watergate saying, well, Lyndon Johnson wiretapped people too. It's completely irrelevant, and please, let's not play that game.
All right, well, let's not interrupt me and let me explain. What Jeb Bush...
I'm not asking about Jeb Bush. I'm asking why it was that Hillary Clinton in 2011 told all State Department officials use government emails, and she continued to refuse to do it.
Chris, I gave you that answer that she, as Secretary of State, had a good reason to do something. What was the good reason? I gave you the reason. You're apparently not listening. 111 countries.
I don't understand. Somehow it was going to be more convenient?
Maybe you don't understand because you're not letting me finish. As a Secretary of State, she might feel the need traveling all over with a handheld
Why is state.gov not adequate?
She may feel the need as Secretary of State
Secretary
to
Kerry
have
doesn't
that
feel that.
as opposed to people in the department. But you won't let me finish. I think Jeb Bush is a fine man and did nothing wrong. But you won't ask the same question of why did he not use state.gov
why don't we
3 million emails. It's just a double standard.
No,
I don't think he did anything wrong.
Again, it's like the Republicans talking about Lyndon Johnson during Watergate. If Hillary
no,
Clinton,
it is not, because I don't think he did anything wrong.
If Hillary Clinton did nothing wrong, explain to me this comment from her in 2007.
Our Constitution is being shredded. We know about the secret wiretaps. We know about the secret military tribunals, the secret White House email accounts. It is a stunning record of secrecy and corruption, of cronyism run amok.
Lanny, she certainly thought private emails were a problem then. She said the Constitution was being shredded.
She listed a number of secrecy acts in the Bush
private
White House.
emails.
And she has now done the unprecedented, maybe we should get the Bush White House to do the same, unprecedented. No Secretary of State has ever volunteered to turn over all her emails.
She didn't volunteer. She had to negotiate for 4 months with the State Department lawyers, lawyer to lawyer, before she turned them over from August of last year till December. Why was it so outrageous for the Bush White House to use private emails, but for her it's okay?
So I keep answering your question. There were other things she just listed that she said were outrageous.
But she included that.
But she did volunteer to release publicly all of those emails. No other Secretary of State, including Colin Powell, who used official and personal emails the same way that Hillary Clinton did. She's the only Secretary of State to openly ask the public to look at all these emails and wants them published right now.
Finally, as we said at the beginning, you served in the Clinton White House handling legal matters like campaign finance, like impeachment. Do you ever get tired of cleaning up after the Clintons?
No. You say cleaning up because you have a certain perspective. I am proud, given the public career and the public good of Bill and Hillary Clinton, as reflected by the popular goodwill they have across the country, unlike Chris Wallace. I don't regard it as cleaning up.
You mean when you say unlike Chris Wallace, what unlike me in what way?
Well, you call it cleaning up. You're entitled to your viewpoint. I am proud to defend a great public servant, Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton.
Proud of Lewinsky, proud of campaign finance, proud of the private emails.
So
you think those are moments of pride for the Clintons?
There have been mistakes, but the last time you got very heated about the Clintons was Whitewater for 4 years.
I never discussed Whitewater, my friend.
You never decided that Whitewater was a scandal?
Nope.
All right, well, then you're about the only person that I know in the business of the media that didn't think Whitewater. No. Remember Whitewater? This is another bogus.
I thought campaign finance was a scandal.
And what precisely ever happened with the Clintons on campaign finance?
Do you think that was a great moment? Johnny Chung, you really want to relitigate that? You want to relitigate Monica Lewinsky and misleading a grand jury and disbarment? Do you want to relitigate all of that?
You asked me whether I'm proud. You called it cleanup. I don't call it cleanup. After all that you just mentioned, Bill Clinton left with a 65% approval rating. Hillary Clinton today is the most popular politician in the country, and you're discussing a non-scandal, nothing illegal, full access, and it's all politics.
Lanny, thank you. Thank you for, as always, whatever you call it, you've been doing it for a long time. Thank you. We'll stay on top of this.